Students, I hope you are all doing well today. We'll be looking at a new topic today, living standards. And in this topic, we are going to look at indicators of living standard. We'll look at real GDP per head as an indicator, and we'll also compare living standards between countries. And finally, we will see the reasons why some people are wealthy. So let's start with the indicators of living standard. There are so many indicators that we can use to show whether there is a high living standard or low living standard in a country. And among these living standards, we will have consumer goods per head, or the number of households that own consumer goods. Another indicator could be real GDP per head. What is real GDP per head? Real GDP per head simply means the GDP that has been adjusted to remove the effect of inflation, that is measurement in purchasing power. We also have HDI, which means Human Development Index. This measure, or it is a measurement that takes into account income, education, and life expectancy of the citizens in a country. Then we also have the GPI, which means Genuine Progress Indicator. This is a measurement that takes into account a variety of indicators, including income, leisure time, distribution of income, and environmental standards. For example, pollution. Let's look at real GDP per head as an indicator. We've already heard that real GDP per head is GDP that is adjusted in order to remove the effect of inflation. Real GDP per head gives an indication of material living standard. So it shows the material, the things I use, material living standard. But a rise in average income does not necessarily mean that everyone benefits from that rise. Some people could have more, while some people have less. So there could be an uneven distribution of income. So not everybody is going to have a higher standard of living as a result of an increase in average income. Then, still under this, we see that an extra output does not necessarily mean that there is more quality in the life of the people. So some people might, for example, in the production of cigarette, if there's an increase in the production of cigarette, you see that more as people consume it, it might have an adverse effect in their health or on their health. So it will not improve on their living standard. There could be an underrated or underestimate. It could be underestimated. Figures could be underestimated. And this could be as a result of undeclared production or non-marketed output. So they could underestimate and give wrong figures in terms of living standards. Finally, despite these material criteria, we have other indicators that could also show that there is a high or low living standard. We have working conditions. If there is a high output, but the working conditions are deteriorating, you see that you have an adverse effect on the health of the workers. So it does not guarantee, an increase in output does not guarantee a high standard of living. Working hours, there could be a high output or an increase in output, but people are working long hours, no time to rest, no leisure time. So you see now that people might be affected by that, which does not guarantee a good living standard. We also have environmental conditions. For example, pollution. You see that as a result of a high output, there could be pollution that could affect the health of the citizens. So it does not guarantee, an increase in output does not guarantee living standard, good living standard. Then, comparing living standard between countries, we could have one country that has or have a higher GDP per head than another. One country having a higher real GDP per head than another country. And that country might still have a lower living standard, even though it has a higher real GDP. Why will it be like that? Why will a country have a higher real GDP, but its citizens still have a lower standard of living? It might be because of less leisure time. The citizens might have less leisure time. They work, they don't have time to rest or relax. So it still goes to the point that we don't stop in these areas. So in this area, you see that working conditions might be worse in one country, even though they have a real GDP per head, a higher real GDP per head. Their working conditions might be worse. Then there could be lower quality of products. You can produce as a higher output, but they are of low quality. So it does not guarantee, it doesn't make the citizens have a good living standard. Then we have the informal sector, where both are undeclared. So we will not know the ratios of people that are, or the ratio of living standard. Then, when we are making international comparison in real GDP per head, we usually make it in terms of purchasing power parity. What is purchasing power parity? This is an exchange rate that is based on the ratio of the price of a product or a basket of a product in different countries. When we are talking about basket, remember we are always talking of imaginary basket. We just imagine that there's a basket with products, and we look at the exchange rate or in the ratio of the price of a basket of products in different countries. Why are some people wealthy? Reasons why some people are wealthy. It's simple. It could be as a result of inherited wealth. You could have inherited wealth from your parents or grandparents, etc. So it's going to make you wealthy. Then accumulated wealth, accumulated savings. Might be you might have saved money in the banks, so it could make you wealthy, and also money that is earned from business. So, in summary, we talk about the different indicators. We talk about consumer goods per head, which means the number of goods or households that own consumer goods. We talk about real GDP per head, which is a GDP adjusted to remove the effects of inflation. We talk of HDI, Human Development Index. We take into account income, education, and life expectancy. And we also talk about GPI, which is Genuine Progress Indicator, which take into account income, leisure time, distribution of income, and environmental standards. For example, pollution. Then we look at the real GDP per head as an indicator, and we know that it mostly indicates living standard according to material. We compare countries, and we talk of the purchasing power parity. We will be looking at our next topic next class. I'm going to give you work to do, and we'll see you next class. Send it on Friday for correction. Thank you.